Well, the other day, out of the blue, I was so happy to see that Viseart has 2 new extension, or Etendu, which means extension, palettes that they have released. It's always a good day when they do. And I was just about to buy them, and they sent them to me in PR, which was extremely gracious and kind of them. But I always put my money where my mouth is with PR. I'm not going to review something for PR if I wouldn't have purchased it my darn self. And I was about to purchase these. They beat me to it, which was incredibly kind of them. Today we're going to talk about the brand new Viseart Lilas Lumiere and the brand new Viseart Praline Etendu. I'm so excited to share these with you today on Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. I am a fashion and beauty editor who has worked with some of the biggest names in fashion and beauty, I'm proud to say, following them around, shadowing what they do, watching what they do, listening to them, transcribing things they've said, ghost writing for them, writing for brands, writing for magazines. I've kind of done it all, and I have brought Not Fit for Print Beauty right here to YouTube, so you have a sort of digital beauty magazine to look through every day or so here on YouTube. I am really happy and proud that I am an affiliate of Viseart, but I never, ever, ever expect PR. And I get it. I'm always so happy to get it. Like I said, I would have purchased these myself, but I am an affiliate, so I do have a code. Rebecca10 will give you 10% off the ViseartParis.com website. All that information is down below in the description bar if you need to see it, because it's always nice to save a little bit of money. These 2 palettes are $44 each, 10% off with my code Rebecca10, and I have the link down below. We're going to talk about them. We're going to swatch them in the warm California sunshine. We're going to do some comparisons, all that stuff. But I do most of my comparisons over on Instagram. So if there's anything you don't see that you need, or you need it in more detail, don't be afraid to ask here or over on Instagram. I'm super happy to do it for you. Okay, so let's talk about what we got here. Lilas is a big theme at Viseart, and this is the Etendu, or extension. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a little bit moody, I think. We're going to talk about it in relation to the Petit Fours. So pretty. And then also for $44, 10% off with my code, is the Praline extension, or Etendu. And it's kind of bronzed and honey and mocha. I mean, just so pretty. So we're going to swatch all these. We're going to try them both on, 2 different looks for each. Just so excited to share these with you. Now, I do have a Mother's Day video coming up with my own mother. And in that video, we're doing a lot of PR stuff, and I'm going to talk about the significance and the importance of PR as a result of a comment I received the other day regarding content creators getting PR. So if you are open to my TED Talk on that, my diatribe, that will be coming soon. But suffice to say, I am very grateful, and I thank the lovely people, the talented, lovely people over at Viseart. All right, check below for all sorts of information, including how to follow me over on TikTok and Instagram, and we got Facebook pages, and we even got a membership right here on YouTube where we do weekly lives. If you're a member, we'd love to see you there. All right, make sure you're subscribed, and let's head right into the demos and talk all about these beautiful new additions from Viseart. Okay, let's get into it here. We're going to start with the Lilas Lumiere, which has this, oh gosh, you won't be able to see it, I don't think, on camera, but it has little raised kind of, they did such artistic, this is almost a leather bound looking, like it feels and looks like leather for the Praline, but the Lilas Lumiere has this kind of raised, almost embossed design to it that's really quite elegant and beautiful. And mine's a little bit sparkly, but I think that's probably because I clumsily got some of the shadow on the outside of the packaging, but it really just makes it prettier. I do not have any eyeliner or mascara on, and I know that's going to take away from the eye look, and I apologize, but I do want to try both palettes. So I have to be a little careful with my eyes so I'm not scrubbing too much. I hope you understand. Okay, so I talked about these in the intro, but I really want to go into it more and then do the demo. And of course, there's timestamps below. So if you're in a hurry to see one thing or another, you can navigate that pretty easily. Okay, so it would be a mistake to underestimate Viseart and to assume that just because this is the Lilas Lumiere Etendu, which is extension, that it's just all 4 shades of the Lilas and then some more. No, it's not really. We have a few. We have a Lilas Petit Four and a Lilas 2, Lilas Du Petit Four, and a lot of other kind of lilac-y shades. Both of these palettes, the Praline as well, they draw from, they are definitely curated or edited palettes, and they do draw from the extensive library of Viseart shades, not just what they're named after, so not just the Praline or either of the Lilas or either of the Praline palettes. They also draw from singles and many others. So chances are, unless you are a completionist like moi, chances are you won't. I don't even think I actually own all these, and I'm a completionist. I don't have all the singles. So it's got to be shades that you haven't had. And I'm going to do a little bit of comparison here and there. But do remember, I do most of my comparisons over on Instagram, so I can compare something that you might be looking to or a cross brand or anything like that. I'm happy to help you out. Okay, and do remember that Rebecca 10 will get you 10% off on the Viseart Paris website if you're interested in trying these out. Okay, so the Lilas Lumiere is, it's supposed to represent moonlight and morning dew, but these are the triple milled shades. They're limited edition pressed and curated from other shades, as I told you. Both of these palettes are interchangeable with Petit Fours, with the Grand Pro 1 extension, the other Etendu palettes, and a lot of other palettes. That's because these are made for pro use, but they welcome you to create your own favorite palette with the shades as well, even if you're working with them at home, which is really nice. And their palettes always stand up like a little easel. Really, really pretty. All right, first thing I want to do is take us outside into the warm California sunshine so that you can look at the Lilas Lumiere Etendu, $44, but you will save 10% with Rebecca 10, of course. These are beautiful lilac, purple, and neutral brown, kind of coffee mocha shades. And they're so pretty. When I say purple, they're really kind of a pinky purple, but Viseart does these beautiful things with their tan, beige, brown shades that make them so versatile. They almost lean pink and lean purple, and it's not easy to do that. This isn't just like any beauty brand could just turn out colors like this. It's not easy. They change and they shift, and these are so... I like this one because it's a little bit moodier. Like, look at this. Okay, so here's our new Lumiere Etendu. Here is our first Lilas palette right here. And the Lilas palette isn't really purple. It's kind of pinky. That's our first one, where it shares a shade, I believe. And then our Lilas Du, which are second Lilas 2 palette. Oops, I have the little plastic on it there. It's a little bit closer to that, isn't it? I think this new one is a little bit moodier. A little bit more neutrals and a little bit more, I don't know. To me, they do kind of a lily, pinky, purpley, beigey colors better than anyone else, and I stand by that. And a lot of people will say to me, what's the formula like? The formula is thin, and it's such a beautiful, finely milled powder that it's very buildable. I don't mean it's not impactful, because it's very much so, but it's not very heavy. The swatches of Viseart, I think, never do Viseart justice. They're really made to wear on the eyelid. We're not made to wear eyeshadow on our arm in stripes. It's always appeared to me a little bit silly, the age of the arm swatch. Comment below if there's a part of you that agrees with it. These are made to go onto your eyelids, and as you put them on, they're just so gentle and so buildable that they're really good for beginners and pros. And they're kind of mistake proof because you're never going to be putting on too much of it. You can always kind of fix as you go, and it's a really satisfying thing. And I brought over a lot of rougher brushes today, so I'll let you know what we're using. And I thought we would do 2 different eye shades. I'm going to wash it off and do 2 different with our Praline as well, okay? That's why I don't have the mascara and such on, and eyeliner. I hurt myself too much when I do that. Okay, let me get my mirror ready here. And this is going to be a Refer 14 Max that we're going to start with. And we'll do 2 different eye looks here. This shade right here, if you're playing along at home, just really brightens the eye. Sticking with it here, I'm going to go down to the next shade. And this is what I was telling you about. This is that almost appears like a tan shade in the pan, but as you get it onto the eye especially, not even the swatches, but the eye especially, it almost has that lilac cast to it. Not almost, in fact, it does. And that, I think, makes it exceptionally beautiful. Switching to a 28 from Refer, I'm going to take that same shade and just go under the eye with it. It's stunning, really. Okay, moving over here to this shade right here. I'm going to put that into the inner corner. Now, it's always slightly shameful that I do Viseart reviews because I'm not a makeup artist. And in the hands of an artist, they do such a beautiful job with these palettes. But I'm a journalist, a lowly little journalist, so I do the best that I can. And I still feel inspired by these palettes, and I think they really are maybe made for pro makeup artists, but easily usable by anyone. I certainly am proof of that. And then I'm going to go on to this shade right here. Same Refer number 28. I'm just going to take off a little bit of that color there, and then right onto the mobile lid. You know, I think this look needs a little something to deepen it. So let's go down into this right here. So we've done that whole row. I won't be able to use every single shade here, guys, and this is where, again, another kind of deeper lilac-y shade, which is really pretty. You know, I have green eyes, so I am supposed to wear these lilac shades. Okay, let's do a different look on the other eye. So this is a little prototype Refer. And I'm going to go, we're going to bounce over here. I can't use every single shade, but I just want to show you. These shades are performing just like any other Viseart I've ever used, and that is, of course, a compliment. They're just, if you haven't tried them, they're just so pretty and so sheer, and you can't really compare them to what a lot of you will want to compare it to if you've used Charlotte Tilbury or if you've used Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath. These are a completely different vibe, and those of you who are fans, I'm going into this shade here, will agree. They're such a kind of buildable, soft look on these shadows. Let me go into this really deep shade right here. Using this little Refer prototype, this became something. I just don't know what. Again, the browns have that sort of lilac kind of purple to them. I just wish this would benefit from mascara, so I apologize. You have to use your imagination a little bit. And then I want to get some sort of I like a little sparkle. I'm like a parakeet. I like a little sparkle. And I really love the way they do these shades that look one way. It's not even like they're duochromatic as much as they just look like, oh, there's a lot of brown shades. And then you get them on your eyes. And once they hit the eyelids, they're really kind of a violet or lilac. Really pretty. These are a little bit cooler too, because the Praline palette that we're going to do is really kind of warm and sweet. These are a little bit crisper and deeper and almost icy in a positive way. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I am going to take off of these shades, and then I will get some mascara on so that we can come back and look at the Praline palette. Just so pretty. Stay right there. All right, let's go down the Praline road now. Praline. pralines. They're delicious. Okay, so here it is. And like I said in our intro, we've got bronzed honeys and mochas, really much, much warmer and so beautiful. But praline is also a theme that Viseart has explored many times. But don't just think that these are repeats. They draw from all sorts of places in this curated selection. But let's first take a look at the Praline Etendu outside in the warm California sunshine. So you can see all of the shades there, really kind of warm, beautiful palette. And as much as I'm often drawn to cooler shades like the Lilas Lumiere, is a little cooler, I do look better in warmer shades. It's just something I've got to admit. So you see those out there. Okay, as I said, praline is a theme that runs through Viseart. I love this little paper that covers it here. I have here, for instance, the original praline. Oh, I have the plastic on these. The original praline Petit Four. I can do these comparisons for you if you need. It's not a direct copy though, guys. Don't think that it's just the praline shades in there. They've done a lot with it. And this is, of course, our Praline Épice Petit Four. But they draw their inspiration from a lot of places, not just directly from. They're not going to be that literal over at Viseart. They have a very artistic vision that they work with over there. Now, please forgive the fact that I also have a little bit of mascara under here. Have you ever been putting mascara on and then you feel a sneeze coming and it's not dry yet? You just finished and you achoo. So yeah, I got a little. It's a Rebecca clumsiness thing, just to ignore me. Okay, let's go ahead and try two different looks on with this beautiful warm praline bronzed honey mocha palette. Let's start here. This is a Refer Shoto number 4. And there's just nothing quite like the way these shades from Viseart apply to the eye. They are never overwhelming. They are never too dark, but by the same token, they never skip. It's just such a pleasure to work with. They never skip, but they're never too heavy. It's really hard to overdo it, and that is why they are an artist favorite. So I've just kind of done a little bit of a base, even me with my clumsiness here. I'm going to go over here and just kind of darken a little bit. And in the last palette, we spoke about the brown shades kind of leaning purple. That was purposeful. But here, they're going to stay a really kind of caramely, praline mocha. And they're very subtle. And I think a subtle eye is actually, I'm going to go down to this shade here, is actually quite in vogue right now. But that's always been the Viseart style. They have that very Parisian, your skin shows and it's just gentle and sophisticated. Okay, same brush. Why skip? I'm going to go into this top shade here, because remember, we're going to do two different looks. Onto the eye. And this kind of satiny shade right here, also onto the eye. I work quickly. But I just find working quickly with these subtle shades, you see what I mean? I do look better in warmer shades. It's just something I've got to admit. I don't know why I'm leaning like this. I could just zoom you in. But it's just a very pretty look. And I did it all with the one Shoto brush. These Shoto brushes from Refer are pretty amazing. All right, let's skip over here. And I have a Lisa Eldridge brush, actually. And I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is a little bit deeper. What am I doing here? I'm just kind of setting a little bit of it out on the top of the palette. I just kind of gently scrape my brush on the top here, and then I can go back into that. And I'm just putting that into the crease and then under the eye. Going to do a different kind of caramel look. As you see, it's already a little bit deeper. And then this dark shade here, which we also had in that a type of deep shade like this that we also had in the bottom of the Lilas palette that we were just looking at. I just want to deepen the outer corner just a little bit, adds a little bit of intrigue. Keep our Lisa Eldridge brush here. Just take this lighter shade here. We're not going to use every shade, but I just want to give you a little taste. Little praline taste. Okay, and let's go with this shade right here. A little bit of a more impactful shine. Hey, look at that. Two different very pretty coffee mocha looks, which I think are, you know, on me more flattering. You know, I love to play with the others, but for me, the Praline palette is actually a little better. Although my green eyes work well with those kind of lilac leaning shades. So they're both for me. I love them. And it makes such a really, I just think Viseart doesn't do this purposefully, but they've always had such a sophisticated, subtle approach to their creations that I think it's also really kind of trending right now. That light, you know, I don't have an overdone eye look, even with all the shades. And this is something I talk about sometimes. Like we looked at the Victoria Beckham Beauty palette. They're so powerful and smoky. You have to be a little careful. I like the fact that I could just use these with abandon and it's always going to be a subtle look. That doesn't mean that one is better than the other. They're literally just different. It's not a judgment call. It's not even an opinion. It's literally just a statement. But they are so pretty. And I thank Viseart for sharing these with me. It's just an honor and a pleasure to use them. Do remember that if you use code Rebecca10, and I have a link down below in the description bar, you'll get 10% off, which these are $44 palettes, so every little bit of savings is helpful, especially if you're going to invest in both. But you can pick up anything else from ViseartParis.com while you're over there. Right? Tell them I said hello. Such a joy to share these with you. Let me know any swatch comparisons that you might need. I do those, like I said, over on Instagram. Super happy to do it for you. Ask me here, ask me over on Insta, whatever you want. Let me know all of your thoughts and let me know what Viseart palettes you have. Are you a Viseart completionist? I am. Or do you just have a few things here and there? I would absolutely love to know. They do color like nobody else, I think. So let me know. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure to share and like. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.